Today, I'm sitting down with the man himself, lowresbones, an up-and-coming Minecraft creator with a very unique style and approach to making story-based content. He started taking off when he made a video recreating the look of the Minecraft trailer in-game, and has since then focused on making high-quality cinematic videos. And he's the primary creator that inspired me to get into making videos, so it was a real treat to be able to sit down and chat about music, what it's like to be a creator, and more. Let's dive into it.
So when I was at high school, I was studying to become an engineer. That was like what I thought I wanted to do. And so I was kind of doing all like the maths and everything. At the same time I was doing that, I was doing like a lot of mountain biking. That was something that I was super into, and I still am, but I don't do it as much. And kind of in that scene, there was like a lot of video stuff was happening, and I had a couple of friends who were like really good racers, and they were trying to get sponsors to sort of help them get overseas and race around the world. And so I was kind of like riding, and I have like a camera. I like got my dad's like real bad video camera, and I'd make videos with them. And eventually, those would turn into videos. We'd post them online. And it just became a thing. Like I did that for a couple of years where I'd make like sponsorship videos for my friends to hopefully get sponsors, and a couple of them like race full-time around the world now, which is super cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that was kind of where it all started. And I kind of got to the end of school, did all like the subjects that I thought I was supposed to do, and I was like, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoy making videos and films and stuff. And so I was like, I'm gonna pursue that instead. And so I went and studied film and TV, did that for like 4 years, and here we are now playing Minecraft.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, like I did not a similar thing. Like I did game design in college, but whenever I thought about the creative aspect of game design, I'm like, oh, this could totally be applied to Minecraft in some way, like building out a level or sculpting or whatever. And like how did you come to the conclusion that you could take that and put it into Minecraft? Like, did you know that from the beginning that you could do like replay mod and stuff, or did you kind of just like figure it out?
Yeah, I don't know, you just, this curiosity, right? You kind of like, because I'm not the first person in my humble opinion, I'm definitely not the first person to like do this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think I'm sort of coming off the backs of maybe, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years of people exploring like what's possible in Minecraft. And so I came into YouTube having watched a bunch of creators that were doing just interesting things that were like different.
Right.
And so that definitely inspired me. And I would be like, for example, you know how like light Matica building is hugely popular for people that don't know what that is. It's like it's a mod for building, and it lets you kind of visualize your build that you've made in creative mode in your survival world, and you can kind of see it layer by layer and build it up. So a lot of Minecraft YouTubers at the moment, all of their building time lapses are like layer by layer.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that for the first time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember seeing that in a video for the first time, and I was like, how the heck did they do that? Like, what? That's insane. And in my head, I'm like, maybe they're just like really good at building. They know exactly where everything's supposed to go layer by layer. Obviously it's not. It turned out to be like a building mod, but
yeah,
it's just stuff like that. You see it and you're like, whoa, that's like, I've never seen anything like that. How do I do that? And you do it wrong. And in doing it wrong, you find like your own style and your own approach. And so that's like one thing that I'm really into is doing things wrong.
Yeah, me too. I mean,
exploration is kind of what I'm talking about. Right?
I mean, that's my approach really, is that I really do not like planning. Like I have any build that I've done on the channel, it's always like building with no plan, because I just feel like if I build a frame of a house, for example, and I end up not liking the amount of space that I gave myself, it feels like restrictive, And so I prefer like literally just making something without even measuring out like, okay, this window is going to be 4 blocks wide and this one's going to be 4. Like I don't even think about that,
Yeah. There's I don't know if this is relevant at all, but I remember this kind of idea of like an artist staring at a canvas.
Yeah.
And being like, I don't know what to do. It's like so overwhelming. And they just like scribble on it. And then it's like, okay, I've ruined it. Now I've got to like figure out how to salvage it or turn it into something. And I remember sort of that was kind of like a really freeing idea when it came to like building.
Right.
Like, it's okay if it's wrong. Change it. Like you have that freedom. It doesn't have to be perfect first time. And so I think it's like you summed it perfectly.
Yeah.
It's approach. Everyone sort of approaches things differently. Do you know what I love the most? My favorite thing, and I barely do this. So I pretty much only play Minecraft by myself now. But every now and then, if I'm lucky, I get invited to play on like a friend, someone like that I know in real life. They'll like start a Minecraft server or whatever,
Right.
and I'm like so humbled by it because I get to see how people actually play Minecraft. Because
Right.
the only way that I see it is through YouTube and like the things that I do. And obviously, we are trying to do stuff that is fun for us, but also entertaining for other people to watch. But when you just play Minecraft, it's just you in your world and your flow. You do whatever you want. You
Yeah.
know, it's like you're not trying to prove yourself to anyone. And so I like really cherish those moments when it's like oak plank house, like for the whole time,
Yeah.
like a chest wall. You've got like the dragon egg sitting on like the plinth. It's so good. I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I don't care. Like the people like will say like, "Oh man, I wish I was a better builder," but it's like I don't care. You're having fun. You're
Right.
doing exactly what you want to do, and I wish that I could approach Minecraft more from that perspective. And I think I'm trying to like go back to that where it's like purely the impulse. You're like, "What do I want to do? What it's fun? I'm gonna do that." Not like what the
Right.
other people want to see or, yeah, if that makes
But
sense.
but I think in a way that almost is really enticing and would get people to look at it and watch it, because people, after a decade of the game being out, people are like, they're kind of tired. At least I get the impression that they're tired of like the really overproduced, like, I built a 2 million block perimeter or whatever, like these ridiculously massive
Yeah.
builds, and like there's almost like an obligation where it's like, if you're not doing that, then you're slacking, or like you're making something that's not worth watching. But like there definitely is an audience and people that still crave like a classic,
Mm.
like purposefully bad house, or like not like not trying to like dress it up in a way that's like
Yeah.
super perfect for an algorithm.
Would you then say that the YouTube platform kind of defines how we play Minecraft and how like that kind of content evolves?
I don't think it defines how I play it personally, because
Okay.
I mean, if you think about what the platform is right now, specifically in the Minecraft space, it's people
Yep.
doing hardcore Minecraft, and they're doing really elaborate builds or extremely lengthy challenges like capturing every mob, or building every biome or something. But people still, I think, want the opposite of that, like I said, and they don't want to constantly be stimulated, and they want something that feels a little bit more genuine. And I like, it's a delicate balance, because like I said, if everyone has their own play style, then there's no point like crapping on the really overproduced hyper stuff because people like it. But I personally don't like that, and I
Yeah.
I haven't felt an obligation that like I need to do that because that's what will get views, because evidently there's other forms of content that people will watch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I like definitely feel. Have you heard the saying, "The medium is the message"?
I don't think so. Tell me about it.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna butcher it, but for example, like watching television or something, it's like I'm watching a great show, like this is good content, and then someone's like, you're comparing two people, right? One person watches good educational content, another one just watches like trash reality TV.
Yeah.
But it's not about what you're watching; it's the fact that you are watching television and you're like sitting in front of a TV, wasting time or whatever it is. And so it's like I feel like I'm trying to sound really intelligent here and I'm not, but
Yeah.
the idea is like you're posting content to YouTube, and YouTube is kind of like it makes you make things in a specific way and this is maybe something that like you can talk to as well, because I feel like your videos are uniquely made, in a way that almost says I don't care about like YouTube formula. For example, it's like
Yeah.
maybe like you need to have like the epic hook in the first 30 seconds of the video.
Right. Right.
Is that something that you like consider? And like not that you
Never.
have to hit it in a specific way, because I feel like you still open with like an interesting idea. Like your videos definitely people watch them because it's like good content and good ideas.
Right.
But like, do you like think about that kind of thing? Like, how do I create like a something in the first 30 seconds? Because that's kind of what I feel like YouTube does to us
It
as
does,
creators.
yeah.
Is like you need to make a video a specific way. So it's not like I have like a 3 hour clip of me playing Minecraft talking once every 10 minutes. It's like
Yeah.
I need to say stuff constantly to keep people engaged.
It's a certain balance because obviously a video isn't going to be enticing if it starts out with like literally zero context and you just kind of jump into it, whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't ever want to create the impression that I've like perfectly engineered, I've like Mr. Beasted the crap out of my intro such that it will be, so perfect for the algorithm and everyone will know exactly what I'm doing. Like it, I don't want to be too precise, I guess. And so if I ever do a talking video and I'm talking about I remember this one specifically. When I did the How to Enjoy Minecraft Again video, I started out with, tell me if this sounds familiar. Because I wanted there to be a certain element of relatability in that it's like, okay, he's asking me a question here. Like, is this going to be familiar to me? Maybe I should listen just because I'm curious. But then beyond that, it's more like a conversation. And it's not like a, 3-act structure where you got to make sure you have like certain punchlines every 90 seconds to keep the audience engaged or stuff like that.
Vine booms going off.
Yeah, Vine booms. Like, no, I don't do that. But I feel like your videos definitely have more of a structure to them. Like, do you do that yourself or no?
I guess the ones that people are most familiar with, the trailer series.
Yeah.
Definitely trying to do more of like a 3-act structure type thing. And mostly, like, I think that's mostly just for me though, because I really want to get better at telling, like, storytelling. And I'm like, look, this is where I'm going to practice and try and implement those ideas.
Right.
Not that I am perfect at anything. I don't know. I think I'm always trying to explore stuff. Like, oh, what if I did this? Like, actually, if I go back through the intros of that series, it's real interesting to me to see like different things that I'm trying. Like sometimes it's like how you said, does this sound familiar? Like having something that prompts an idea or a thought.
Yeah.
There's like times where I've like approached it that way, and then other times that I've just like opened with ambient sounds that are like more environmental. I'm like, what if I like started a video that's like tries to immerse people in this environment before it, takes the next step, and it's kind of like trying to like bring you to that place. I really enjoy that part of like making videos is like, oh, I want to try something different. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe like sometimes I should just stick to like what works, but I really like exploring different ideas.
I don't know. I mean, when we talked a little bit and we said that episodic content doesn't really work usually. So I don't think there's any problem really in being experimental because often that is what uncovers what is going to work on your channel, because so many people will bang their head against the wall and like keep doing the same idea, or like once they find a video that works, they'll just like try to extract every possible view out of it by making like additional series in that same style, but it's always evident that subsequent uploads don't get as many views, or like people are like, oh, I've seen this before, like with your series, I think you're up to like 13 episodes in the bare bones.
Yeah.
And like, so. I'm sure there's got to come a point, at least from my perspective, because whenever I make a series, I'm like, oh God, I need to like come up with something fresh to keep people engaged. But like, once you've gotten that deep into a series, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to do to keep this up, like there's going to come a point where you're like, I've got to change it,
Yeah. There's a countdown on it. Oh, like,
yeah,
it's definitely heading towards something. Do you know when I started it? It's definitely changed a lot than when I started. I don't know how much you want to get into this, but like when I started the series, I had a notepad and I wrote down every episode, and there were like maybe 15, maybe less, maybe there were only 10. I can't remember, but there weren't that many. And I was like, all right, this is a story about Minecraft. Boom, boom, boom. Here are all of like the major updates and all the major features. And I was just going to go one at a time go through like the whole, try and like cover as much of like Minecraft like stuff, like, you know, going to the Nether and that kind of
Right.
journey, going to the end, fighting the dragon, like whatever, all of that stuff. And I was like, boom, here it is. This is the series. And then due to like reasons of like things taking way longer than I thought they would, like
Yeah.
there's videos that are like 3 parts that I was like, cool, I can do this in like a couple days, and it took me like 3-4 weeks to do.
Yeah.
So like that dragged it out for sure. And then I had like other ideas, or people would comment, like tons of comments about something. I'm like, okay, I should probably do that. So it's still counting down towards the end. Because I never wanted to drag on, and this might break some people's hearts. Like I know people that have been watching my videos, or the series, that like, we want it to go on for a long time, but
Yeah.
I want it to end well. Like I love a series that ends well, and you know, it does all the things it needs to, and then it wraps up and then moves on. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for. So yeah, it's like a little peek behind the curtain.
So with that in mind, then I'm curious how the parallel formed between that and the Hammer, because I love that series too, but that's like so obviously different and modded. Like, did you have the same approach with that, where you planned out each video?
No, I just was like, I just want to play Minecraft and do what I want. I don't
Right.
care if people watch it or not. Do you know, dude, my channel, my like approach is completely, no, I don't even know actually. I don't think it has completely changed. But I remember I was playing an SMP at the time, and I was like, you know, I just don't care. I'm just going to play Minecraft, do what I want. I don't care if anyone watches these videos.
Yeah.
And I started that series. I'm like, I've always wanted to play this mod. It's like a creative mod, but this guy likes to get wrecked, made a data pack so that you could play it in survival. I was like, yes, I'm going to play it. And then people watched it. I was like, dang it. Ugh. Now that it just like put the pressure on in my head. Now I'm like, okay, now I've got to kind of try and keep up a pace and make it interesting. And anyway, so I had that. I finished my other like SMP series, and like I was like, I don't want to start another series.
Right.
That's the last thing on my mind. How to make Minecraft look like the trailer.
Right.
That had been out for like over a month, and it was like just kind of no one, like it had like a couple of thousand views or something. And then out of nowhere, people started watching that video,
Right.
which was cool.
Yeah.
I was very like lucky, blessed, all the things. And I was like, if I don't do this now, if I don't start something that continues this train, I'm going to regret it. And that was kind of my approach to that, which sounds selfish in a way.
No,
I don't
no.
think.
Like they make hay
was just
while
like,
the sun shines.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to capitalize, but it was just kind of like, it made sense. And so I kind of had to like suck up. I'm like, okay, the thing I didn't want to do, I got to do it. But then I'm going to have 2 series, and obviously the channel's gone the way it has, and I sort of am split between 2 different things, and you know, that's quite hard as well.
So in that regard, then, where would you say you're at currently from a creator standpoint? Like, where do you want the
Do you know
channel to go?
I feel like I've only just started my channel. That's how I feel like. I feel like at the moment, I'm like finally at a point where I'm like, I think I know how to like make this, like how to start a channel.
Right.
It's taken me like 3 years to get here, but yeah, I feel like this is just the start. I feel like whatever's next is gonna be like, I mean, you kind of want to go and like move on to bigger and better things.
Right.
I'm not saying that because I want to move away from what I'm doing currently, but I guess I'm just trying to say like how I feel is like I'm really excited. I feel like I've gotten to the point where I like sort of I've got a grasp of like how to make videos, what do I like, and all those kind of things. And yeah, I don't know. It just feels like this is just getting started.
Well, that's awesome. I always love hearing that.
Yeah.
I feel the same way because I always wanted to feel like I wasn't pigeonholing myself into being just a Minecraft creator, you know?
Yeah.
And like where we're doing this, where we're just talking and it's 2 people, not a podcast per se, because there's like a billion of those out there.
This is
But
not a podcast.
It's not a podcast, but
Disclaimer, this is not a podcast.
you know, but that means that you can then go into a new area of like, I want to get to the point where I can start talking to other creators or, you know, creating videos where people get some value out of it. Like it's kind of like a content versus, I mean, it sounds so pretentious, you know, but like content versus art, where it's like, do you want to make videos that are purely entertainment and it's just there, like kind of like when you're scrolling on Instagram, you're like that to me is content.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
you could make a video where it's like, this is really giving someone value, or this is going to be a long-term thing that people will look back on. Like that was a timeless, piece of art, so to speak. I mean, it sounds so like, I don't know, pushes glass up the nose kind of like snooty thing, but like it just like I want to feel like I'm going in that direction versus like constantly feeling like I'm just like a content machine,
Yeah. I've definitely, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay. It's cool to hear that because I've definitely struggled with that as well. Like we were talking about this just the other day. Like I could record, like 3 videos a day or whatever. And like I could just like hit record and do something that's mediocre or whatever, and put it out and sort of feed the beast, just kind of
Yeah.
every day or every other day, sort of uploading content. And part of me wants that. Like part of me wants to be more regular. I really want to. I've told this to my subscribers multiple times, like, "Yo, weekly uploads,"
Yeah.
and it never happens. Something always happens and it never works out. But I definitely, part of me wants that, and then the other part of me wants like, okay, is this like the best I can do? Is this, Dude? So I was watching your most recent video about sort of growing apart from your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a really sort of hit home for me because it was not long ago that I've sort of split off from not split off, but our sort of friend group has kind of gone a bunch of different ways.
Oh, is that right? Here, let's sit.
It's like, and I was thinking about it regarding Minecraft as well because like I played on a couple like SMP servers and made videos on them a while ago, and sort of like you really sort of involved with people like quite intensely with making videos for a bit, and then all of a sudden someone's like stops making YouTube videos or like, life changes, all that kind of stuff. And it's like really interesting to have like intense relationships and then they just end.
Yeah.
And
I
it was
mean,
like, quite, yeah.
like what I went through in that video was that, I and my friend group were at the point in our lives where we're all just leaving college pretty much. And so that's just like an inherent time in which you're going to move to a new city or you're going to get a job or you're going to move in with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. And it's just hard to reconcile, especially when you have a really large friend group, that everyone is going to be in the same area. And I never really, like, I prepared myself to know that was going to happen because in high school, you see your friends every day. And then you go out to maybe practice with them after school for sports. And then maybe you like have a sleepover at their house. And then suddenly you go to college and now you're not doing that. And like, for me, I was like, I gotta know that that's coming, because if it doesn't, then you might get really bummed or sad,
Yeah.
But like, have you been jarred by your friend group kind of splitting, or is it kind of like something that's kind of happened over years or something?
Yeah, definitely over time. So progressively over time. I guess it's real different. Kind of like I would look at like older people that I knew or like my parents. I'm like, man, why do they have no friends?
Right.
Or like, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like boring. Like my friend group rocks. Like we do stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's just natural that your life will progress away from people. And it's different. I feel like I don't know if this is it, but like I kind of went through a time of like having to like mourn it or like grieve it in a way, which I don't know if that's like too intense, but I was like, okay, this is sad and I'm going to be sad about it for a little bit and then like move on.
Right. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like I touched on it in the video, in that I've had friendships when I was a lot younger, and you realize that you're just not really compatible anymore. And at first it's like, well, that person is just annoying, or like they're just like they don't understand me, and that's why we're not being friends anymore. But like a lot of the time it's just because you've grown in different directions, How would you describe like the stage of life thing? Because like, would you say that whatever has happening in your group is just the result of different life circumstances and jobs and whatnot?
Yeah, that's definitely a huge part of it. And obviously, I mean, being school, so there's like school friends, right? So you like go to school, you've got your mates, you see them, whether like you're in the class with them or like on break, they're there all the time for like 6 hours, 8 hours, or however long your school day is.
Yeah.
Um, and then you go home and that's it. And then I remember I like left school or I changed schools or something or whatever. And I was like, oh, why don't I see those people anymore? And it's just because that's it. Like you're friends with them at that time of life.
Yeah.
And I had some other friends that I like spent a lot of time with after school outside of doing that stuff. And nothing changed. Like school ended or what, we got jobs and we hung out all the time because
Right.
that was like something that we'd built into our lives, our routines. And that was really cool. We had like every Friday, because we all went to different high schools, every Friday we would all gather at one friend's house and we'd stay there the night, plan out our Saturday, and then Saturday would come around, and we just do projects like stuff, like crazy stuff. We built like a boat and went sailing on it, and it sunk, and we got in trouble with the council. But like we would do like all this crazy stuff, and so that was like real intense for me. That was like our friend group, and we were strong because we spent so much time out of school. But then, like you said, like life stages happened. Like people had relationships, jobs, and like the one friend that was kind of in the middle of it, like that we'd gather at his house. He like had to, decided that he was going to do something else with his life, and it just happens. It's just like what happens. You
Yeah.
can't sort of fight it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like we still like you said in your video, like I still like keep in touch with them. We have like a group chat and we talk to each other. But it just changes. Life changes. Things happen.
There's
Beautiful.
there's
Sad.
definitely an element of fighting it, because I remember when I was applying for colleges, I was thinking about how I'm going to deal with my relationship with my girlfriend if we go to a different school and we're really far apart. And, we're still together, so it ended up being fine. But at the time, I was really like bummed out that she ended up picking a different school, because I thought that
Right.
I really couldn't handle it if she was hours away. But, I ultimately decided, or not decided, but I came to the conclusion years later that that actually was a really good thing, because sometimes distance is good and you grow up and you become an adult on your own. And, with friends, right now I've got lots of friends that are literally thousands of miles away. But I know that, as we get older, there might become a time where we come home, or we're once again in close proximity. And during all those years, we then, grew as people. And that, honestly, like I said, I think is a good thing. Like, it's not something to be fighting, even though sometimes it feels like I hate this. I want my friends with me all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if this is at all connected, but it so pops into my head. We kind of touched on it briefly, like with like motivation earlier. Like, are you self motivated, or like did you like ever at any point rely on sort of like a group?
I am completely self-motivated right now, but I honestly don't like that. And
Ooh.
I'll go into it. So the main reason, or reasons, that I do YouTube is, one, I don't make enough money with my real job. And I know
Let's
that
go.
like you can actually like make a career and a living doing videos, which is amazing that you're even able to do that. The second reason, and I don't know if it's honestly a bigger reason or equal, but I really never wanted this idea in my head of like, I'm going to do a normal job for my entire life, and I'm just going to be a part of a company, and I'm not going to like have something creative. Like, I'm just going to do my own little cubicle thing. Like, I hated that idea so much. I still hate that idea. And so I want to feel like what I'm doing on YouTube is fulfilling and it's helping people. And so those two reasons right there keep me pretty motivated, because if I don't make videos, then it's a lot harder for me to pay my rent. But then also, like, it's really validating to get those nice comments and people are like, oh, this video really helped me. But like I said, I don't love that I'm primarily self-motivated, because there's, those are great reasons for myself, but it's still, those days still come where like I don't feel like uploading, or like I don't have the motivation to do it. But there's a tremendous amount of motivation when someone else is like, hey man, why haven't you been uploading? Or like, if you have a gym buddy and he's like, hey dude, you haven't been to the gym in 2 days, like what's going on? Like people that hold you accountable, like that's really helpful.
Yeah. Do you treat Minecraft like doing YouTube as like a job? Because you know how there's that thing, right? Like where it's like, I love my job. I'm a creative. I do what I love every single day, and it
Yeah.
never sucks.
Yeah.
Are you like trying to? Are you in that camp where it's like I love this, I'm doing it, or are you like no, this is a job. Like it some days it sucks because like jobs suck, or are you somewhere in maybe in the middle?
I would say that the closest thing that I feel to, this sucks is when I
Mm-hmm.
am just trying to think of a video idea.
Right.
Because I often will, think of an idea for days and days and formulate my thoughts, and that can take a while. But I wouldn't say that I ever get to the point of like, oh God, I have to edit. Because I think that what I've done is create videos that are extremely, I don't want to say low effort, but like I intentionally don't make really crazy thumbnails that take hours to make, or I intentionally don't have edits where there's sound effects and animations going on. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to have to do this for 8 hours and it's going to take a long time to finish, like
Right.
like, I don't want to create something where like there is more potential for it to suck.
Right. Okay. So you're kind of just managing like your capacity and
Yeah.
all that
But
sort of stuff.
I would
Yeah.
be interesting to hear what you have to say on that, because you have such high quality thumbnails, and I'm like, there is no way that does not take you hours.
You say that, but like to me, I like cut so many corners to what I probably could do. What was the question again? We're
Well,
like
but
talking
yeah,
about
what
capacity.
I'm
Yeah.
getting to is
Oh,
like
that's right. Yeah.
do you feel like you've created videos where like, oh my God, this is gonna take me weeks to do, and I'm procrastinating?
Yeah. Definitely procrastinating. Anyone that's ever been on my my creative server, if I log on that server, it's usually because I'm trying to procrastinate from actually doing what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, yeah,
But no, I honestly I love editing. I like being a full-time video editor was like a dream of mine and still like is up there with it. So I love that part of it. Um, but I do consider like Minecraft like to be a job, even though it's not my job. I have a different job. I still like approach it with that mindset, and I don't how do I say this, like going to a job that you hate. Like if anyone can relate to that, you wake up and you dread it. I try not to have that.
yeah.
Um, and I don't have that. Like I've never had that. I don't ever wake up and go like, oh no, I've got to make a video for people that I don't like and doing something that I don't enjoy. I never have that feeling, but I'm like, I try and be realistic about it. Like I'm like, okay, here's how much time I've got to like spend on this thing, and I'll try and like structure it in a way that if I was ever to do YouTube full time, I would then be able to like step into it and go, okay, this is how I can like manage my time, manage my energy, and all that stuff. And I
Right.
think that's just trying to like keep it healthy as well, because I think it would be really easy to just like go 200% and like just put
Sure. Yeah.
everything into everything all
Definitely.
the time, and then get to the point where you're like, I can't give this anymore. Like I'm empty. I've got nothing left.
Yeah.
And then what do you do from there? Like either you just have to stop and reset, and you do that in waves, or you just have to be realistic about it and go, actually no, this is like a 9 to 5 thing or whatever. I have to approach it that way and
Right.
respect my time. And also if you like share your house with another person, and or if you share your life with other people, like you gotta, how do I respect them as well?
Right. I like we had talked about how we both watch Colin and Samir, right?
Oh yeah.
And I remember one podcast where they talked about not wanting to feel like what they're doing is creating a second 9 to 5, or like by quitting their 9 to 5 and doing YouTube full time, they've just created
Yeah.
another thing that they hate. Because
Right.
like
Okay.
my approach is like, I'm doing this completely voluntarily, and I want to feel like I'm loving what I'm doing and that I'm providing
Yeah.
value. And if I ever get to the point where I am doing this thing voluntarily, yet I don't like it, I'm like, what am I doing, man? Like, I chose to
Yeah.
do this. And
Yeah.
by losing that, it's like, well, what even is the point? When you create, for example, an upload schedule, like that's such a common thing for YouTubers, like, oh, I'm gonna upload every
Right.
Thursday or
Yeah.
something. Then if
Brutal
you
upload
get to
schedule.
Wednesday and you still haven't even started the video, then there's like, oh God, people are gonna be mad at me. I'm not gonna have the video done in time. I'm like, dude, you did this to yourself. Like, don't commit to something if you're not ready for it.
Yeah. The upload schedule is such like a classic one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever had an upload schedule and kept it.
I could never do it.
No. I think there was when I first started my channel for like the first year. I think I uploaded almost every week because I was staying up to like 4 in the morning when I first started my channel.
Yeah.
I would like start recording at like 10, finish at 4, go to bed, get up for work. It was dumb.
Oh my god,
But
grind mode, yeah.
it was the only way that I could make it happen, and I was really passionate about it. And like what we just talked about as well, like it didn't. It got to a point where I was like, I just can't keep this up.
No, yeah. That's another thing from Colin and Samir where they talk about creative people are not consistent people, at least not usually.
Interesting.
And like I had a couple weeks ago, I hadn't uploaded for like 10 days. And prior to that, and a few weeks prior to that, I had been uploading like every other day or sometimes even every day for like 9 days in a row. And then I just fall off the wagon and I don't upload for 10 days. But I think if you set the expectation that that's just kind of how it is, like you're going to have bursts and times like that where you're willing to stay up until 4 in the morning and then other times where you're not. And it's not like it's a bad thing if that happens because humans aren't robots where we can just keep doing the same thing every single day or like do you know Good Mythical Morning, that show?
I know of Good Mythical Morning, yes.
Yeah. They're Rhett and Link, the two guys, the hosts, they've been doing an episode Monday through Friday every single day for like 10 years. And there's very few people that can do that. And if you're a solo creator or someone who's just passionate about something and they're working on it in their bedroom, like I just think it's really unhealthy to have an expectation that you're going to be able to show up every single day for years on end. Like it's just probably not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, everyone's got different capacity, and that's like another thing that like we have to be careful as well. Like if you're you're a creator or you're like wanting to become one, you can't look at someone else and go, cool, I'm just going to do what they're doing because maybe, they've got a like different capacity to you, or maybe, you might have more and you might realize that you can actually go harder and faster and longer and, better and stronger, all that kind of stuff. And so like, it's really important to as well to like assess what you can do. And if you want to do more and you feel like you're struggling, then you just have to like, okay, how do I achieve this? Like, do I need help? Do I need to scale back this part of my operation to like improve this other one?
Yeah. I actually had a question while we're on the topic of videos, is that you had that one video where you recreated the look of the trailer and it went like dummy hard, like 6 or 7 million views. Like that's crazy for Minecraft. And I'm wondering because I didn't have a video go that hard, but I had one video that got like 1.5 million views. And when you get something like that, it's like, holy crap, that's like such a rush of dopamine. Like I got a video that got that many views. That's crazy. And then you'll upload a video and it'll be like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. And it gets 5,000 views or whatever. Like, how much of those like really like fall on your face uploads, like does that bother you, or are you kind of like, whatever, I'll just go to the next upload, it'll be okay,
Yeah. I think it is going back to like just YouTube. Like that's like when you upload a video, you get a metric about how good it performed.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it's a good video? Does that mean it's a bad video? Like who's to say? And the who is to say is the YouTube Studio app. And so I try and like base my opinion of like what I make off like my peers that I trust, and then like what I put in. Obviously there is like the likes and the views and stuff, and they count for something. And you take that feedback. But that video that went crazy, honestly, I had zero like I had nothing to do with that. There was like absolutely nothing that I did, because people were messaging me like, yo, you hacked the YouTube algorithm, how do you do it? I'm like, that video was up for ages before that happened. Like it was like an average video, like it was like a 5 out of 10 or whatever. And then it just like out of nowhere like happened. And the thing that I probably feel the worst, like, and in the end this goes back to what we were saying the other day, is like you put your heart and soul into something and you upload it and you're like, this is it, I've like made something that I'm really proud of,
right? And
it's a whatever video. And then there's other times where you upload a video where you turn a resource pack off and it gets like 700,000 views and you're like, what? Why is that? And so it's so hard to know. Like you can't predict things. You can try, but for me, I just make what I want. I make stuff that I think that I hope people will enjoy. I make it stuff that I enjoy, and things that will hopefully last longer than sort of a week or two. Something that will like
Right.
people can come back to like a year from now. Like my current series, like people a year or two from now, I hope that they can come back and open up that playlist and go, "Wow, this like stands the test of time."
Right.
And I will feel really good in myself about that if that's the case. Rather than just like the idea of like content goes out, it's around for like a week or two,
Yeah.
gone, forgotten about for the forever, lost to the void. But then there's also like the business aspect of it as well. I don't know if like this is people are interested in it.
No,
Or,
I would
like,
love to hear about it.
obviously, like React channels uploading every day, and all that kind of stuff. That's like a one thing that's kind of going on YouTube at the moment. It's
Yeah.
like how do we deal with React channels and all that kind of stuff. And it's like at the same time, like they've got a business. They're like pulling in all this whatever. And so like at the same time I still have to be realistic about it. I'm like, if I really want to do this Minecraft thing and this YouTube thing, I also have to like figure out how to make it a way that I can pay rent or whatever.
Exactly.
Pay for the groceries. And so you also have to like be realistic and eat your pride a little bit, which is something that I think I'm in the process of having to do.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
very hard. I mean, that's what I was getting at with the like the episodic content, because while I love playing Minecraft and it's cool to make a series, I understand that there's a certain ceiling on different kinds of content, and if you want to get to a level where you know that this is going to pay my bills or this is going to reach the number that I want it to reach, then you kind of have to like swallow your pride, and if you think you've got a really banger idea but it's just not doing well, like you might have to just go back to the drawing board, But like I've had video ideas and things that totally flopped, and that's a really great tool of being like, okay, that's not going to work, and we're going to go do something else now.
Also, like considering previous creators and like the whole so like I'm not like a gamer. Like when I play Minecraft, I don't play it competitively. I don't play it from like the perspective like, okay, how do I like get the most diamonds to like impress people to show how good I am in the game. I'm like I'm telling a story, or like I'm making something that is exciting to watch. What is that? What's that thing that's exciting about it? And then like, oh, it's like the journey, the character's journey, or like I can see myself in this story. Like I had that same experience, and so like that's how I like approach the game. But for like all of the people that have made Minecraft content and like, I'm good at the game. Like, look how good I am at this. Look how good I am at getting like 100 diamonds. I feel like that kind of stuff potentially will like sort of get phased out, and like that won't be the interesting. Am I making sense at all? Like, it won't be because like if you go back 10 years to like when Minecraft stuff like content's first uploaded, it's like people could upload like an hour video of them just playing the game and everyone's watching it. Like, yo, finally some game footage is uploaded, but I feel like we're so past that point now that it's like, what else? It's what is there else to see in this game?
No,
I've seen this stuff a million times.
I totally remember when popular MMOs would upload like a Let's Play, and it's just the most like low lift, let me hit record thing, and it gets millions of views. Or I mean, if the real OGs know about it, like the Youngscast and like the Jaffa Factory or Shadow of Israfel, like
good.
There's like a certain element of like pre-planned shenanigans, but for the most part, it's just them being the boys and they're just hanging out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that can't work anymore, because I think if you have a good enough cast, like I think honestly, if Mr. Beast and his crew, if they really did like an unscripted Minecraft thing, I bet that would do really well. It's just that he's created a brand where it's got to be super produced, and he probably wouldn't do that. Yeah. But I do think that there is a shift, and I've talked about this a lot in my Discord and my channel, is that I imagine that people are going to get tired of like the Vine booms, like they don't want like super edited stuff all the time, because at a certain point it's like tiring, like it's just like I need something that is real. And maybe maybe it's not. Maybe the real thing isn't like doing the same thing again 10 years ago, where we're just hitting record and playing Minecraft. Maybe it's something else. But
Yeah.
I don't think what is currently happening is sustainable.
With like the 1,000 days stuff,
Yeah,
or
yeah. The 1,000 days is a big one. Like all of this stuff where it's like, well, okay, actually, this is I think what it boils down to. Most Minecraft players are probably just like the dirt hut. Like I just want to like build something kind of cool. I don't want to
yo,
build something crazy.
yeah,
But when you log on to YouTube and you see that someone has survived 10,000 days and they built every biome in the snow globe and they captured every single mob, it almost feels like
yeah,
this feels bad because I'm like, well, my play style is terrible. Like I wish I could be like this person, you know? It's kind of like
yeah,
it's kind of like fitness influencers where you work out or maybe you don't work out, but you see someone
yeah,
online and they're like super chiseled, they're perfect, they're handsome, they're beautiful.
yeah.
I want to look like that person.
You just described me.
But it's like the most people cannot do that. They don't have the time. Like these people have, you know, their job is to look good. So they probably have like chefs and masseuse and they meal prep for
Sure,
hours and they
yeah.
work out for 3 hours a day. Like it's just not realistic to do that. And I don't think it's that different in Minecraft where people just like it's ridiculous to expect that anyone could match the kind of content that is coming out.
I've always kind of maintained like anything can be interesting if you like tell it in an interesting way.
Yeah.
Um, like I don't know, when I think about some of my videos, like some of the most boring stuff, like the most monotonous stuff, like literally building a dirt hut. I remember that, like that first video
I
in that,
remember. I
in
know
that
you're
trailer
talking about.
series is
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like that's like a classic moment. Like there's like people like comment about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's just like told in a way that's kind of like
It's relatable.
to me, I find it's relatable. It's like kind of touches on those like notes of nostalgia and like that kind of charming, humble little start of the game. And I mean that's kind of just like general like Minecraft as well. Like everyone loves early game stuff.
Yeah.
It's what most people relate to. You know what? We should talk about music a little bit. I
Right.
didn't
Yeah.
know that you made music for your on your channel until you
Yeah.
brought it up the other day. Um, very fitting, very ambient.
Yeah.
Um, was that something that you have done from the start? Or
Well, initially, I actually only started doing that, I would say, in the past like month or two. And that's because when I made my first series in the mod packs, I wanted to lean into the nostalgic part of Minecraft. So I wanted to make sure that,
yeah,
you know, C418 was in there and people would hear the
yeah,
songs that are familiar to them. But
music.
when I was doing the talking videos, and I feel like that comprises the majority of my content at this point, the talking videos, um, I wanted to feel like they were as close to my personality as possible, I guess. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it felt like if I didn't have my own music in there, then it wouldn't be quite as like genuine, I guess, because like I've been making music for like 7 years. And
Right. Okay.
I like I just felt like if I was telling a story and it was personal to me, then it would just be like the little cherry on top if that music was also made by me instead of like another artist or something, you know?
Yeah.
And like obviously you don't have to do that. Like most people don't,
No, not at all.
most people don't want to make their own music, but like for me, I just felt like it would be fitting. Like you said, like most of the music that I like to make is kind of ambient or chill or emotional or whatever. And you know, at a certain point, I felt like that would just be like the bow to wrap up the video. You know, like that was his music. You know,
You're gonna have to give me some tips.
you're gonna have to give me some tips. I listen
No,
to some of
dude.
your stuff on Spotify. This man's got it going on. Like where I know we talked the other day about you playing in bands, right? So
Oh yeah.
tell me about your musical background.
Always loved music. I was like the cringe kid at school who listened to dubstep. Yo, dude, hand me the aux cord, and then it puts like Skrillex on.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know. I just like the energy from it. My dad was like a jazz enjoyer, so he would at home that was all we listened to. He had like a drawer full of like jazz cassettes, and that's kind of what I like grew up on. But
Right.
no, when I was at high school, I like got really into electronic music, and then I left and I got into electronic music because I just liked the beats and the energy and all that kind of stuff. I never
Hmm.
related to like lyrics at all, not until like a bit later in life.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember hanging out like in the music room with all the other outcasts. We someone was like playing like a band called Rage Against the Machine, which is kind of like an old washed up like 90s band now, but uh they're not. I still love them. I'm sorry, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, yo, these guys singing about politics. That's like something I'd never heard before. Like I was only used
Mm.
to like hearing love songs. I was like,
Right.
that's interesting. Like that's something that's like more that connects to me, like having an issue with like a high power and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that kind of like lit a spark in me, and I when I was at university, which you guys call college,
Yeah.
I was introduced to like hardcore punk music,
Oh,
and
okay.
like and that scene. So I have been ever since then been playing in like metal, like hardcore punk bands. Yeah, it just like spoke to me in a way that music had never spoken to me before. And
Interesting.
so yeah, I picked up drums and guitar. I've been playing guitar since like I was a lot younger, but
Hmm.
not that kind of guitar. So yeah, I play drums, I play guitar in like two different bands, and then do the Minecraft thing, which is a bit different again.
Yeah, because I wouldn't really describe your music style as electronic. That's interesting. Like it feels much more acoustic
Yeah,
or I
yeah.
mean, some of them is like low res, like the 8-bit. I've heard some of that stuff, and that's really cool too. So, would you say that your music is like when you consider music, Minecraft, and your video related job, which one would you say, like, is there a hierarchy of priority there, or would you say they're all equally pursuable for you?
Mm. Like if I was to like choose one as like a career,
A career or something that just like really gets you up in the morning, or like you really are passionate about it?
I wish I could give you an answer. I think I'm maybe in the same boat as like a lot of creative people, in that like the variation actually like is really fulfilling. And
Yeah,
so like
right. Yeah.
in the way that like some days I'll wake up and like have like an idea for a song or whatever it might be. I'll go down for a walk down the street and something will go, "Oh, that's like a cool thing that's like inspired this." And then I'll create that song or whatever, and then that inspires something in Minecraft, and I'll go to Minecraft and I'll like work on a video, and I'll be editing, and I'm like, oh, actually, this scene would sound great if it had this kind of song, and then it like starts looping around.
Hmm.
And so for me, they all fuel each other in this perpetual cycle of stuff. I don't know.
That no, that's really good. I think you're definitely right that it's not. It's probably not a good thing to just do one thing your entire life. Um, but I know that for myself, and I touched on this a little bit when we talked about this, but one of my best friends is really passionate about music, just like I am. Like to the point of like that could be a career, like being an artist or whatever, a producer. And
Right.
then I've got this side of me where like I also really love making content on YouTube, and I know that that is a good way to make money, and it's fulfilling, and then I get to talk to people that I like to talk to, and people like the content I'm making. But I'm also like, but I really love making music too, and like there's like I'm sure you know this feeling like when you make a song and it's like kind of working, but then you've like added that one instrument or that one riff and like okay, now it works, and like you've got that moment where it's like this is cool.
Yeah.
That is such a hard feeling to describe, but it's like that gets me fired up, you know? So it's like
Yeah.
how could I pick between that and YouTube? Like I can't. Like they're like two halves of my personality in a way, you know?
Right. I don't know. I just think like if you're a creative person, and not everyone, ooh, I don't know if I want to commit to that. I was gonna say not everyone
Not
is,
everyone
but
is, yeah.
part of me thinks that that's true, and another part of me thinks that like uh, everyone can be creative in their own way. But
Yeah.
I think you probably have. There's probably varying levels of capacity, but um, variation, like having doing different things, is good. I reckon it's healthy. At least I subscribe to the idea that like having have a job, have a hobby, and maybe those things can like build each other up, or like
Right.
if you've got one passion, maybe explore something else, and maybe they can both fuel each other. I think there's definitely like some really cool cross pollination in that space.
Maybe that's another way to actually ask that question. Would you say that any of those three interests that I described are like one of them is like just a hobby, you know, and like this is just something I like to do that's for fun, and then like one of them is maybe like this is the career path that I want in life?
I would probably, sadly, I think music would probably go into the hobby one.
Yeah, me
I
too.
think I've kind of given up on pursuing music as like a thing.
Yeah.
Um, I had one point in my life where I was like, yo, I'm gonna tour. Like all these bands that I was in, I was like, yeah, we're doing it.
Right.
But because music in that space is like a collaborative thing, you also need everyone to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge learning experience for me. Where like, not everyone's like on the same page, and I was
Mhm.
like putting in 10 times more effort, and everyone else just wanted to like chill and play local shows. Um, and so I kind of like I retired that idea back then. I still love music and I still play, in those bands with those people, and I still enjoy it. But I've sort of just readjusted. But I think music's probably like the one that I would put into the hobby basket. Um, I'm definitely trying to pursue YouTube as a career at the moment.
Mhm.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. Like, it's quite kind of hard, like putting all your eggs in one basket when you don't know, like, how it's gonna evolve over like time. And also like transferable skills as well. Like that's another thing that's kind of
Right.
scary. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
what am I, what am I learning? What am I gaining? How am I growing myself to like then, what's after that? All scary things to think about. But yeah, I still like whatever it is. Like I'm making music and I'm making videos. If that's to do with Minecraft, then like great, I love it. Like I'm all in. If it's something else, then it's something else. But whatever happens from here, like every day I'm gonna wake up and make music or make videos. That's like the only two
Yeah.
things that I can.
That's me
give
too.
myself to.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah.
But that I actually thought of something just there when you said transferable skills. Obviously, as a Minecraft YouTuber specifically, like who cares if you know how to use the replay mod in the real world? But when
Yeah.
when it comes to building a channel and thinking of ideas and executing them and seeing success, I think all of
Yeah.
that could be brought under the umbrella of you're learning this skill of how to do things that are difficult and things that have no handbook to them. And that's really,
yeah.
really valuable. You know, like no one, I always say that no one can teach you really how to do YouTube. Like there's no school for it. You just have to figure it
Yeah.
out and figure out what people like from you. And once you get to the point of it works, like that really builds up your confidence too. And maybe confidence is a skill in its own way of like having the validation that you know how to do something. And like you might not have a hard skill of like coding or something, or like something that you could take from one job to another one, but a really broad skill like knowing how to teach yourself how to do things, like that is extremely valuable. And I'll always say that that's really valuable.
Dude, YouTubers are actually crazy. Like, it's seems like it's just like, especially gaming. Like, I just log on to my game and play that every day, and then upload a video out. There's so much stuff that goes into it that I had no idea. Maybe you are the same as well. Like, I've been trying to do like merch for like a long time.
Yeah,
It's really hard. Like
yeah.
learning about all that stuff, managing a community, really hard. It's like,
Yep.
I feel like most YouTubers could probably like walk out of this at any point and go, "Cool, I'm gonna start a business because
Yeah.
I know how to run a business."
Exactly.
It's actually crazy the amount of like things that you have to figure out on your own because, like you said, there's no handbook for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I will say when I started my Minecraft server, that was so much more complicated than I ever thought, you know, and even just something as simple as like, okay, I have to pick out moderators and I have to make sure that they're trustworthy and I have to make sure that people get along. And like, it feels like you're like the principal at the school sometimes, you know, like there's just like so much that I think is the beautiful thing about it all is that you can never really anticipate what's going to happen with the whole journey. And, you know, you just kind of like learn what to do and what not to do. And like, that's funny. That's funny learning about the merch too, because, you know, there's like quality control. Like, how do you make sure people get their merch shipped to them? And then like,
Yeah.
I want my design, it was flipped upside down. Send me a new one. Like,
Returns. Oh.
yeah, returns
yeah.
and stuff. Like, yeah.
Yeah, there's so much like just little things. The server one's so funny, dude. I have had my server for a little bit now as well. And when I started, I had next to like no understanding of how to create a Minecraft server.
Yeah.
And now I just know like a bunch of useless. It's not useless, but it's like
It's
a
very
bunch of
specific.
things that I never expected to like learn about stuff.
So I guess as a wrap up then, based on that, where do you see yourself and your content in the future of YouTube? Or where do you want to see yourself going?
To the top, baby. Let's go. I actually don't know what's next. I have no idea. I'm kind of in the dark. I like most people, I don't know. I've got like a list of like ideas and I'll sort of like go through them one at a time. Um I don't know where Minecraft YouTube is going. I think it's at least for building because that's kind of like the circle that I'm in at the moment. Minecraft building is in a great place at the moment. I think more than ever there's like more people have access to more things,
Yep.
and we're seeing so many amazing Minecraft builders on the internet at the moment, which is good. It means there's like a lot of competition in like a healthy way that's like pushing everyone to grow more and more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one thing that like I'm directly sort of in that space and excited about. Um, will that then translate to like a YouTube audience? Because I guess I'm mostly talking about like Instagram and Twitter. I don't know. I would love to play Minecraft with other people, and that's not like a I don't know. That sounded like a call for help, but
Yeah. I need friends.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like as I'm sort of taking steps towards doing this more often, I definitely like us doing this right now. Like this is cool. This is like I'm getting to meet people around the space.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want to make more music. I want to put out more albums. And like with the Minecraft music at least.
Right.
Make more videos, make them more regularly, make them better, make them, more interesting, all that kind of stuff. Probably see the end of the trailer series either towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Uh,
Tear.
Tears in the eyes. Yeah, who knows? Dude. The finale is gonna be epic. I don't want to
I'm sure it will.
brag, but like I've got yeah, I got some ideas that'll be pretty crazy. Hopefully.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, that's honestly not that different from what I want to be doing, like making more music and making more videos and doing this kind of thing more often. Because I think there's a healthy perspective to be gained when you're doing a lot of different things, and when you bring something to an end, like the trailer series, or for me, I don't know if I'm really ending anything right now. Maybe you could say I don't really do the survival series of my own anymore. But it just means that you're now going in a new direction. And for me, that looks like talking with more creators or doing things that connect you more. And because I like, for me, I don't want to feel like I am known just for Minecraft, like I don't want to be like a podcast bro, but I want to be like in that space, talking to people and learning from new perspectives, because whenever I do a talking video, I can only talk for so long, But like here we are. I mean, it's so easy to bounce off of someone else's perspective, and clearly that's what I've been needing. So
yeah. Oh, maybe you could start a new channel. Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I really like the branding though that I've got.
Yeah, true. The evolution of Flow State MC. Where's it gonna go? Stay tuned to find out. It's gonna be amazing.
Man, what a pleasure that was. Once again, a big thank you to lowresbones for taking the time to chat. And let me know if you guys want to see more things like this in the future. Alright guys, I'll catch you later.